If you've been doing all the things, posting, pitching, promoting, but you're not seeing results fast enough, or maybe you're just second guessing your entire message because maybe someone said no or just didn't engage the way you hoped, then you're going to love this episode because we're talking about the principle of conviction, why you need it, how to build it, and how it fuels the kind of brand that keeps going even when you don't get instant validation, which is going to be a lot of the time as you grow your brand. So if you're ready to stop spiraling after every no and start building something that actually lasts, this one is for you. Hello, my love. Welcome to Brand Confidence for Creatives. Are you feeling stuck in a cycle of overthinking, trying to build your brand? I'm Eugenia, but you can call me E. I'm a marketing and brand coach. I spent years stuck in the cycle of researching, hesitating, and hiding until I got clear on my voice and my message. In this podcast, I'll guide you through the strategies you need to get clear on what you want to say, build a personal brand that actually feels like you, and create consistent magnetic marketing. If you've ever thought, I know I have something to say, I just don't know how to say it, then you are in the right place. So grab your coffee and let's dive in. Real quick before we get into today's episode, I want to invite you to a free workshop I'm hosting next week. This workshop is for creatives who are in that initial stage or pivoting stage of trying to figure out what their brand is really about, and that's making them feel stuck. They're trying to figure out what they stand for, how to say it in a way that feels clear, that feels confident, and most importantly, true to who they are. So in just 45 minutes, I'm going to walk you through the first step to brand clarity, and that is your message. And if you've ever typed, how do I explain what I do into Google, this episode is going to be for you. Because you're going to leave with clarity, with confidence, and a way to talk about what you do that actually feels good. So go and grab your spot at brandclarityclass.com. It's also going to be linked in the show notes below. I would love to see you there next week. When I launched my first podcast in English, Fairly Bold, it was honestly one of the things I've been the proudest of, like ever, especially during that time, because I poured my heart into the vision. I built my blog from scratch. I learned everything about WordPress and blogging and designing the blog. I learned Pinterest. I structured everything super beautifully. And I really thought that people were going to be excited about the podcast. And at first, sure, they were excited and people listened at first and I got some beautiful feedback. And not to toot my own horn, but I'm really good at getting stuff launched. So I was excited in the beginning, but then it was all crickets. And I got to the point where I was refreshing my stats almost daily. I was checking my email like 20 times a day to see if someone was downloading my lead magnet. I became so obsessed with analytics. And this is not in a healthy way. Like, I'm not talking in a way where you look at your numbers to give you feedback and grow from there. Like, I was just trying to look for some type of validation or confirmation. And because I didn't get it, my brain went straight into spiral mode. And I was thinking all the time, like, oh gosh, maybe it's my messaging. Maybe I shouldn't have shared that. I was overthinking every single little word so much. I was asking, should I pivot? Should I just delete the post that I posted on Instagram? And month after month, the podcast wasn't growing the way that I expected. And to make things worse, some people were disagreeing with me and with what I was saying. And I was in my DMs debating strangers. Mind you, this was 2020. People were a little, animosity was out there for sure. And I felt like I was accidentally just offending everyone, which was never my intention. So that season taught me something I'll never forget. And that is that your belief will be tested long before it's validated. And that's whether it's a free idea or a paid offer, there's always going to be a no coming from somewhere. You need to understand and accept that reality. And because I was relying solely on confidence to carry me through, that's why I needed the numbers, that's why I was trying to get like those validation hits, I burn out super quickly. I dropped the podcast less than a year in. I rewrote everything 14 times. I questioned everything. And that burnout kept me stuck for years. But when I finally launched my business and in a way I started building my personal brand in public and in a way that felt super intentional, what kept me going wasn't hype or validation because I already had learned my lesson. I knew that I couldn't rely on external validation because I knew what could happen to me. And it wasn't confidence either because I knew that confidence came as a result and it was more of a feeling. So I needed to find something else. And that something else, of course, other than God and my faith and knowing that He was calling me to this. But when it came to the way I saw it for myself, it was the conviction. So, conviction in the result I knew my work could create, conviction in the transformation I believed in, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. And that's the principle of conviction. Because as we are building our personal brands, we are building influence, we are connecting with the right people, we also need to work on strengthening ourselves internally to be that leader. And if you're still a little unsure about the word leader, please check out the previous episode about the principle of influence because everything's going to make so much sense. But this principle of conviction, I needed to understand what it is, how to build it, how to lead from it with clarity and ultimately resilience, to be honest. So, first, let's define conviction. And I'm not sure you knew this about me, but I'm obsessed with watching Life Court. I'm currently watching the Karen Reed trial, like obsessed. And I'm talking legal court cases, which I usually watch with a legal commentator on YouTube. And this one that I love, Emily D. Baker, she breaks down the proceeding for me. So I understand what's happening. It's really so good and informational. So, anyways, when I hear the word conviction, my mind immediately jumps to the latest case I've been following. So, in a courtroom, a conviction is a decision. It's the final verdict after all the arguments have been made. A conviction is a formal finding of guilt in the courtroom or in the legal setting. And while we're not exactly in a courtroom, I want you to start seeing conviction in your brand like that, like a firm decision that you make. That's a deep certainty, a belief that you've landed on. So, in this context of personal branding, conviction is your grounded belief in your message, your offer, your process, or your calling. And that conviction is what creates trust and confidence in the people that you're trying to reach. Why do you need conviction? It is so important because when you are building a brand, there are going to be quiet seasons. There's going to be seasons of rejection, of low response, and sometimes it's just literally seasons in the air. Like some brands, they just have lower engagement during the summer because of the nature of it. So sometimes you even get feedback that is not really nice, posts that flop. I've seen it with so many huge clients making multiple eight figures with huge communities. They still don't have incredible response 100% of the time. And if you haven't built your conviction yet, those moments will definitely shake you. Because building a brand takes time, and you for sure won't get an applause after every post or every offer. But when you're anchored in the result you help people get, that's when you're in love with the transformation. That keeps you going. Like the conviction becomes that anchor. Literally, like a ship, imagine the anchor going deep. That's what the conviction does for you during hard times, during stormy times. So that happens, and that anchor is available even when people don't get it right away, when the outcome isn't instant, when the applause is just not happening, not showing up. So, how do you build that kind of conviction? I want you to journal on these two questions that I find so powerful. Number one, what's the result I help people experience? And number two, am I in love with that transformation? Number two is so important because in my searching for the right messaging or what I want to do with my brand, I've for sure launched offers that had great results, great transformations, but they weren't I wasn't in love with those transformations. But when the answer is yes to both questions, when you believe in that transformation so deeply, it almost feels personal, your message gets so much sharper. Your presence gets bolder. Your brand just becomes something people can actually trust because you trust in your brand. But conviction is sustained not just by belief, like yes, I believe in this transformation, I believe and I like it. It is also sustained by clarity. And that is the second point of this training, because here's the thing. It's hard to stay grounded in your message if you are not sure of what your message is. You can't fully believe in what you're offering if you're constantly changing direction or doubting what you stand for. It's hard to get that certainty if there's no clarity. That's why trying to build conviction without clarity, I always see it, and maybe this is a silly metaphor, but it's like trying to build your forever home in the sun. Like, how long do you think that house is going to stand? And I'm all about honoring your feelings for sure, but conviction isn't just a feeling you get in a moment. Like, it's not a moment where you feel like, oh, yes, I truly believe in this. Conviction is a safe space, safe place, going back to that metaphor of the anchor. You'd return to that conviction and you use that conviction over and over. It is reliable. That means that your internal alignment, that alignment meaning like, okay, I'm clear and this is aligned with my values and this is aligned with my vision. That is what allows your conviction to actually grow. Because when things get messy, which they will for sure, you need your message to be so clear that it reminds you why you started. So how do you get the clarity you need to build conviction? Start with these 3 questions that I really love. Number 1, what do I believe is possible for my audience? Number 2, what do I stand for in my work? And number 3, what result do I help people create and why does it matter? And the why portion is related to the principle of relevance, which is one of the trainings that we did in this series. So go back and check out that episode. But answering these questions is going to build that solid foundation, that anchor, because conviction needs something to stand on. And that something is clarity. So now that you're clear, how do you grow your conviction? I think this is the fun part because we get clear, now let's grow it. And you grow your conviction through measurable results. And this is what healthy appreciation for numbers and analytics looks like. Once you know that what you believe and who you help, then your next job is to get really good at helping people get that transformation over and over again. Whether that's more predictable, faster, in a way that has less friction. Because that's how conviction grows. That's the evidence. It's not just emotion. You don't meditate your way into more conviction. Of course, you build it by having this clarity, by having these anchors, but also you get your results that they are the best feedback that your vision works. And that's why I don't love relying on confidence alone to move forward, because confidence is how you feel in a moment. But conviction is what keeps you going regardless of how you feel. Conviction gets stronger every time you prove to yourself that what you are doing actually works, or that you're going to stay grounded even when you don't feel like it. For example, in the last weeks of pregnancy, have been really working to eating healthier. And the first time I make this shift or have this intention and I have the conviction of eating healthy, it's good for my baby and for breastfeeding, I'm not going to feel like eating healthy. And every time I still make the decision to eat the healthy chicken with beans and potatoes instead of having some cookies, that result of look at what I did, even though I didn't want to do it, that also builds my conviction. So if you have a method for doing something and then you choose that method when it's hard or when you don't feel like it, that's also a result that's going to keep you anchored regardless of how you're feeling or what's happening around you. That's why the best way to start building those results is always, always, always to start with yourself. Like, go through your own method, wear the pieces that you sell, apply the mindset shift you teach, be the living proof that your ideas work. It's kind of like letting your results speak for themselves. I mean, this is not in a performative way, but as a way of building your own trust in what you offer. Because when the first no comes, and it will come, you won't fold because you already have your own results. Your conviction won't depend on someone else saying yes because you already said yes to your method, to your ideas, to whatever it is you're putting out there. So from here on out, your focus is simple. Just get better at getting results. That means refining how you deliver the transformation, getting faster, getting more effective at delivering it, practicing how you talk about it so it comes naturally, learning what works, and then what doesn't work, and then repeat, rinse and repeat. There's a lot of repetition and keeping your head down and doing it over and over and over. You don't need a million testimonials, right? If you want to start building or continue building your conviction, you just need one strong result to say, this works, I'm onto something. So even if you're just first starting out, focus on that first result. And then go for another, and then go for another. Because you build on each win. And honestly, you build on each failure too. I think we underestimate the importance of failure and how failure can be a huge teacher as well. Because results don't help you just with marketing, which is, of course, great, but results fuel your conviction. So here's what I want you to take from today. Number one, conviction is more than just confidence, because confidence can fade. Confidence is a feeling, and conviction is the grounded belief that you keep returning to, especially when things feel quiet or when things feel uncertain. Number two, conviction needs clarity. And if you are not clear on what you stand for, what you help people do, or why your work matters, your conviction will feel shaky. Clarity is what gives conviction something to stand on. And number three, conviction grows through results. It doesn't grow through hype. And this is coming from the biggest words of affirmation person. Conviction doesn't come from guessing, but it comes from practicing your message over and over again, refining your process, getting better at achieving consistent and better results. That's how you grow your conviction. And if you want support getting that clarity both in your message and specifically in your results and getting clear on what they look like so that then you can show up with the conviction and finally feel confident about what you're saying, join me for the Get Clear on Your Brand workshop. It's completely free and it's happening next Monday, May 26th. I'm going to walk you through the first step to brand clarity. That's your message. So you can stop second guessing everything you post and finally feel anchored in what you're building. Remember that image of the anchor, that's what we want to build. So head to brandclarityclass.com or tap the link in the show notes to save your seat. That's brandclarityclass.com. You're not just building content. You're building belief first in yourself and then in the people who are called to follow your lead. And I'm excited to help you get there. Un beso. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you loved it, don't keep it to yourself. Send it to a friend who's also trying to grow their brand without losing themselves in the process. Remember that sharing is caring. Real talk, I used to overthink every post too. So if this episode gave you a little aha moment, just know you are not behind. You are building something real. See you back here soon for the next episode. Un beso.